Alright, hello and welcome back to Ashgabat Cat's Let's Play That. Today we're taking a look at Ice Age for the Game Boy Advance. Ooh, this stage select screen, they don't even give us a language, or they don't even give us flags, they just give us language written out. Thankfully each language is written in the language it corresponds to. Well, this option screen, it has an option screen. I never knew that you couldn't, but it does, so that's good at least. And we're treated to some frankly beautiful stills from the movie. If you recall Daredevil about 2 months ago, they had stills from that movie and they were nowhere near as good as this. This is actually really good. They must have, redone them straight for this. Oh, you can select your level. Well, given the illusion of choice. So this is, Ice Age. On one hand, this looks nothing like the stills, but, usually they don't. Okay, how do I read that again? Well, at least the elephant makes a funny noise when you do that. Okay, I think the rune only does it when you approach the first time. So, for impatient button mashers like myself, that's not a good thing. Oh wow, so we can do big old belly flops. Yeah, Yoshi, eat your heart out. Oh, okay. So, while the graphics do seem to... Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. Well, the graphics do seem to rival a Nintendo game, Nintendo Entertainment System game. This, is altogether not seeming like a bad game so far. It's a nice, happy platformer, nice, happy music. There are these weird shells everywhere, but we're gonna ignore those. And, can we jump on things? And apparently, the acorns are your health, which is kind of ridiculous. It's like, why would you make a Mario-type game and then have coins be your health? Do I get an extra life every time I collect 100, or is that no longer a deal? I also like how even though coins are my life, I'm still losing them, spending them like it's on going out of sale. Wow. Okay. Actually, having these birds just kind of hanging around gives me good flashbacks to Donkey Kong Country. Oh, cool. So we can shoot things at things. Interesting. Did we bounce off of him? This game, it's so mystifying. It's so confident in its nonsensicality. And I also like how, even though their art style is, it's about only as detailed as an actual Nintendo Entertainment System game. The colors are nicer, I suppose. It's still very confident in its design. It knows it looks like this, but it just doesn't care. It's like, you know what? We're gonna make a video game, and it's like, you might not like it. So, if you smell a skunk, then you start flying. This is a notable change of pace from a lot of platforming games where everything in the world is out to kill you. Those skunks, they're not there exactly to brighten your day, but they'll make you float away, which I guess does more or less the same thing. And then, while we're also noting the positives, take a look at that wispy cloud in the background. A lot of people would kind of phone it in with weird pixelated clouds, but it seems like what they lacked in Now, ain't this a puzzler? Oh, okay. That's so weird. The jump angle is so shallow that, and the character is so floaty that you can actually get away with doing what I just did. But, a lot of people will just kind of do a few puffs in the sky and call it a day. And given the general level of art quality in all these characters, you'd think that's precisely what they would do. Oh. Oh, okay, there we go. So, well... We have the big old walnut now, so that means we can't press the B button. The entire button is off the table. Oh, okay. So we actually had to do what we did. My platforming instincts just kind of took over, and we just kind of backtracked to see what we could get. I don't know, it's weird. You play one platformer and, well, you gotta play 3 or 4 more, because, I mean, they do innovate in that genre, but more or less you've played a lot of them. Oh, it's just wigging me out that you can't quite jump on these birds. You can to an extent, but it's not exactly pretty. Oh, this is a boss, apparently. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if Sonic, you collected all the rings, and then you didn't lose them all when you died, you just lost them one at a time? Speaking of losing them one at a time, what are we supposed to do here? So, jumping on a shell hurts you, I think? Maybe we're supposed to jump onto his head? No, that just makes me lose things. Oh, right, the belly flop that we used once. Okay, so you have to belly flop them. I mean, I guess I should have remembered that from the tutorial, but it's not like the game's making it any easier, because it's like we haven't used the belly flop in so long. I guess we're only 3 minutes in anyhow, so... Oh, wow! The screen shook, and it had so much emphasis. Like, why are the characters in the foreground so bad? And especially, like, the kid who has no shading whatsoever. But then, the backgrounds are just so lush. And then the stills from the movie, like, they put a lot of care into it. Like, I think they just straight up redrew them specifically for the Game Boy's resolution. Because if you recall Daredevil, they just kind of cut and paste screens from the movie, and they're like, oh, doesn't... My precious acorns! What happens if we die? Apparently lives... Okay, so there are no lives in this game, but honestly, I feel like lives are an anachronism. So who knew that it was a game whose visual style reminds me a little too much for its own good of the Nintendo Entertainment System would finally be the one game to eschew the lives and just go straight up for lives or so 2014. Let's not even do those anymore. That's not sensible. Lives or so 1994, let's say. Wow. Like, look at that little piranha fish. Like, look at the detailed shading, and he's multicolored. Now look at the kid riding on the elephant. Like, he's literally one color. Like what were the priorities in making this game precisely? Now I'm gonna say these lush environments are amazing, so I'm not precisely going to say that the effort was wasted, but it's just a little baffling, I suppose. Well, it looks like you're about to go the way of the dodo. Wait, but there were flying dodos? Actually kind of a chillax platforming game that involves, but is certainly not limited to, a kid and his pet. I'm almost getting vibes of Yoshi's Island. Now, granted, Yoshi's Island, the main mechanic was that you could collect everything in sight, and you were frequently encouraged to do so. The main gimmick for this game is that it's really easy. I mean, I'm not going to complain. Sometimes you just need a chill-out platformer, but it's, like... Well, I mean, that was kind of Yoshi's Island deal, too, but, like... Yoshi's Island, you would reasonably be expected to lose. Here, I mean, the only time I got in any sort of danger... Oh my gosh, oh. Oh, but I kept my acorns, so no harm, no foul, I suppose. Oh, I'm losing an acorn each time. There we go. So we can actually jump off. You can't swat away bees. Bees are an amorphous hive mind cloud of animals. How could you swat them away? Is this level gonna end in a boss too? Also, those dodos are flying. So what's up with that stupid dodo who could not fly? Yeah, I mean, there's essentially no chance of losing here. It's just so nice and pleasant. I mean, yeah, I'm taking hits like... What was that? I think that was me accidentally pressing the pause button. Not the pause button you guys know about. The secret pause button. Anyway, yeah, no, it's a chill game. And, like, it's incredibly forgiving. I'd say too forgiving, but, I mean, again, it's kind of refreshing to see a game for kids that's, like, actually, you know, on a kid level. Sometimes you get these games for kids for, like, Nintendo Entertainment System, sometimes Super Nintendo, and they're just super hard. And they're like, oh, but kids will spend their whole weekend rentaling it, and if they can't beat it, then they'll have to rent it again. And it's like, yeah, I kind of get where you're sort of going, but like, is this really such a good idea? Although I will say this platforming, while it was kind of nice and easy in the beginning, this stage is fairly monotonous. It's kind of like they used all their ideas on stage 1, and then they're like, well, no one over the age of 10 is going to play till stage 2, and certainly no one is going to keep playing after that. Well, I kind of want to see the boss, so maybe I'll make it to level 3. Yeah, I'd like to see the boss, but... I forgot about those silly sounds. Say what you will about this game, but any game where you're elephant, you can play as an elephant, and he makes silly sounds when you look up and down is a game I'd at least like to play. I don't know that I could say I fully enjoy it, but it's a game that is worth giving it a shot. Okay, I've more or less officially run out of things to say about this game, so let's just fast forward till the boss or something interesting happens. Okay, that familiar music means it's boss time. Okay. Okay, that is not the secret tip to beating the boss. Jeez, these guys are pretty fast. Well, so now that we're in the boss, it's time to put our thinking caps on. So what tools do we have to play with? We've got this walnut. Attaboy. Ahaha. Okay, so you do have to act faster than the snake. This boss is... well, I was going to say significantly less threatening than the previous turtle boss, but... well, that's true, because, I mean, the turtle boss could hurt you, albeit if you didn't know what you were doing. This boss is kind of... a little... harmless. Actually, yeah, how does the boss actually hurt you? The only way the boss can actually hurt you is if you fall off the water. But, like, you're entirely in control over your character. So the only reason you would ever fall off the water is if you did it yourself. So, if I was only going to judge this game based on the first level, and I'm not a video game reviewer, so that's unfortunately not true, I would have thought that this game was pretty good. But now that I saw this second level... that's a funny animation. I'm pretty sure that took like a day in and of itself. And there's the sloth. They're like, oh yeah, the sloths, we should put him somewhere. I think what they did was they put all their effort into... well, speaking of this... and he's already dead. Okay. Sloth can jump with A. Well, okay, I wasn't expecting this. This is actually pretty new. I thought I'd have to... run away again? Okay, so on one hand, it's an auto-scroller. On the other hand, you can kind of change the pace. And there's parallax scrolling? There's 3 layers of parallax scrolling? And yet the kid is one color. Who made this game? What were they thinking? These mad geniuses. Well, geniuses may be a little too strong of a word. Oh, there's Diego. Oh no, that's not Diego. That's one of the bad guys. Oh, apparently Diego acts as a checkpoint. If you've watched the movie, that doesn't make any sense. But again, it's not like they had checkpoints back in the day, so what are you gonna do about it? This is surprisingly... so the first level was like chill, almost painfully so. The second level was kinda meandering and pointless, but still no real sense of urgency. But this is like frantic fun. Like, what were they going for? What gameplay style is this? Why is there no overwhelming theme for the game? And if you stand still, then you just don't scroll? There's so much going on here. It's kind of interesting though. It's like I talk about games with continue functions, and I like those the most because then you get to experience the whole, everything the game has to offer with relatively little investment. But like this game, it doesn't even really need a continue function. It's got so many lives that you can get through it almost no matter what your skill level. I'm of course going to challenge those words, but I think I mostly got this. I'd like to put my platforming skills firmly above a 5-year-old. I'm a 7-year-old at least. Come on. Oh, jeez. And he makes the Wilhelm scream too when he dies, so it's like kind of doubly disturbing. How is it that the world moves like fast enough for it to be a danger if you don't move fast enough, yet slow enough that you can't consistently outspeed the camera? Those dodos, every time. Not today, baby. You're going instinct. Distinct. Instinct? Distinct. Extinct. Yeah, I never thought there'd be so many words that end in CT. Haha! Great. I would not use those words to describe that performance. Wow, we are pretty far into this game, and this being, well, I don't want to call it exactly a lazy cash grab, but, like, there's not that much effort into it. Now, what am I trying to say? It can't possibly go on for that much longer, is I think what I tried to say, but... well, who knows? Oh, I see. The spikes turned a different color. Yeah, we already made it to the Ice Age part. That's funny. So if you die, it shows you the message again. It's like, hey bub, I don't think you got the message the first time around. Let's just make sure we're all on the same page here. Oh wow. So this level, it happened so fast I didn't quite even notice it. So the background has, what, 4 colors? And yet the kid is still 1 color. Who made this game? But anyway, it happened so slowly I didn't quite realize it, but this game actually got a little bit hard. Something tells me I can't handle them just like that. Nope. No dice. Close enough. Oh, at least they gave me an acorn. But yeah, the fateful day has arrived. I think we're finally gonna run out of acorns. This is not a great happening. Well, it's gotta be safe, right? Oh, okay, they're gonna make me use it right away. But that's okay. Oh geez, well at least I'm on this side. Wow. I don't know, this game is charming. It has that certain je ne sais quoi to it. Like, I mean yeah, it was probably made and directed by people who were like, hey, let's make an Ice Age game. That'll sell well with the kids. But at the same time, like the developers, they kind of put some heart and soul into it. Not a lot, necessarily, but enough. So even the bouncy beavers can hurt you. That's annoying. I thought you guys were my friends. You helped me jump. Okay. Maybe the kid? No? Oh, both L and R do the same thing. Starts. Okay, I think what it's telling me is you platformed the wrong way. You should have found a way to do it with the cone, which... okay, I think what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to shoot him, wait for it to respond, get this, go up. God, this is like a Ruth Goldberg machine. Go in here, bounce out the bouncy beaver, shoot him, jump, and you're clear. Take the acorn and use it to not die. Wow, it's like a whole Ruth Goldberg machine trying to get through that thing. Yeah, okay. So Yoshi's Island kind of found its gimmick by having a whole bunch of collectibles hidden throughout the stage that you had to collect. So I guess this game's gimmick is you can hit the big things with the acorn, well, no, it's not an acorn. It's something more grand. With the walnut, let's say. And so you can hit things with the walnut. You can hit things with the walnut, but you gotta keep the walnut too there. And so you get an interesting gimmick. It's like, how do you get the walnut from point A to point B? It's not exactly easy every time, so there's some thought required. No platform comes to mind that has that same sort of gimmick, at any rate. And it does it's a good gimmick, I think, because it makes sure the entire stage is used. Like a lot of platforming games, well, especially Sonic games in general, there's a lot to those stages that you just kind of like run by and never look at again. And I mean, a lot of that is done to have like multiple gameplay paths and to just kind of make each experience unique. But I feel like a lot of effort is kind of wasted in that you spent like a lot of time on these environments. You should somehow incentivize the players to look at everything. Now, Sonic Generations tried to kind of solve this by adding in the red rings. Like if you explore around, then you can get red rings, and if you collect them all, then, well, you're the Sonic Master or something. But anyway, you would have to actually try out different paths until you got all the red rings. And that, I think, was a smart gimmick. This game kind of goes the other way, where it's like, instead of incentivizing, weirdly manipulating you to make everything happen, what instead we'll do is we'll make every part of the level part of the actual process of getting to the next part. And so they kind of went and did that, and I mean, more power to them. That's a way to do it. Oh, boss time already. If you recall, the last time we played as the elephant, I got a little bored. So no, that's it. Weird. So last time it was an easy level and an easy boss. Well, I guess not much has changed. It's just the boss is easy too. Although I guess you have to prove you're smarter than a 5th grader and know to shoot the walnut at his butt. Which, I mean, I guess, but that's like kid raised on cartoons level thinking there. I guess if you weren't raised on cartoons, then like maybe that would be harder, but if you weren't raised on cartoons, I don't think you could possibly appreciate this game. You certainly wouldn't appreciate the subject material. How am I not out of almonds or whatever they are? Like, it's a good thing I don't have to actually platform over to that side. How am I not out of walnuts? Like, I'm taking damage just all over the place. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what this could be. So that Sid level, was that just like a one-time deal? Or will we have another one of those, or what? I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm like jonesing for it, but it was kind of a nice change of pace. And at least you could go fast. I mean, say what you will about the elephant, but he doesn't go terribly fast through the level. That's not necessarily a detriment, but, well, I don't know. You can only get so far in cerebral puzzle design, I suppose, especially in a game intended for kids. Yeah, I don't know why, but I like this game. And again, I suppose that's what Ashgabat Cat's all about. It's like you give each game a fair shake. And it's like in the past, I know for certain if I had to pay for this, I mean, no, of course, I bought a secondhand copy. But if I had to like pay for this, then I would not have given this a shot. I'd be like, Ice Age? Yeah, right. Got any Mega Man Zero? But now that I've played it, I mean, I'm certainly not advocating buying this instead of Mega Man Zero, but if, for some godforsaken reason, you've actually managed to beat all of the Mega Man Zeros, and you've beaten them to such an extent that you already earned A ranks and everything, that you feel like there's nothing more to be gained from playing more Mega Man Zero, then you could, well, there's the Mario games, I mean, there's plenty of other platformers. I think there's even a James Pond game for the Game Boy Advance. I'm not exactly advocating that either, but I wonder if that would be more fulfilling than this game. But if for some immense reason you've managed to play every other platformer on the Game Boy Advance, you could probably play this game and have a decent time. I'm not gonna lie and say it's the best game ever. I'm not gonna say it's a hidden gem. I'm not even gonna say it's a hidden ore. I'll say it's a little hidden aluminum foil. Like, it's fairly pleasant for what it is. Well, have you ever played those Chinese clone consoles that sometimes include, like, their own games onto it? Like, this game is far and above the level of those clones. So I'll give it credit for that. Like, this is a game. And I mean, I know that word gets thrown around a lot when we play, you know, games. But, like, not everything gets to be called a game. Like, you don't always get the game moniker just for showing up. You gotta kind of put together something that seems reasonably coherent, and that kind of gels together. And so this, I mean, they put together something that gels, and it works. Oh, I see. They have stealthily added in a new gimmick. They didn't even have to teach it to me in a tutorial. I see. These don't sync, but you might as well have. Wow. Well, it's no Metal Slug level 3, but it'll do in a pinch. If I squint, I can pretend like this is the cave level of Metal Slug Advance. That being said, for as much as I'm trashing this game, I'm on level, like, what, 5? If I'm not paying attention, this could turn into a long play. Although I think I fast-forwarded through a brief section of boring level 2, so... Can it really be a long play if you fast-forwarded through part of it? I think technically no. Then what would you call it? Full playthrough? I played through most of it and skipped a boring part? Maybe instead, I should just not fast forward through this and send a disclaimer. It's like, this is technically a long play, and so I have thus used my editing judgment to not fast forward through this part. Alright. Did I say alright? I may have spoken too... Oh, okay, fair enough. This is a really puzzling puzzle. Although the only puzzling part is why they thought that this could be a puzzle. Well, I mean, at least it's good to know that you can, in theory, screw up the puzzle. I mean, you don't want to have a puzzle that's, like, impossible to mess up. Granted, you don't evidently have to have a puzzle that's even hard, but... I mean, I feel like making it impossible to mess up, and there you're in the land of Kirby's Dream. So that was a boss. You guys are really stretching the definition, which is strange, because you're the ones who set that definition. Wow, 6 whole levels. I'm feeling Sid. Alright. That means, of course, you can't end on a Sid level. The game doesn't work like that. And so, what we're gonna do probably is have another elephant level. I'm betting there's another 2 elephant levels. What if there were 12 levels? That's like too much. I mean, I got a bit of time, but I don't think I have that much time. Oh, okay. Fast forward through a Sid level. Now that would be going too far. Well, I will say at least Sid has 2 or 3 colors in his design, so that's kind of nice. The rest of... Well, when Divine Providence hands you some lemons, don't question it. I think I'm gonna have to fast forward through a Sid level. This is no longer a long play. I mean, ignoring that other part where I fast forwarded. I see, so if you previously ran into the block, then it gets rid of it for you on future run-throughs, so it doesn't mess with you. Which is an interesting way of doing things, especially because it removes one of the last vestiges of skill from this mode. But I mean, on the flip side, it does let me get through this game even easier, so I'm not... Oh my gosh, did you see that poor little sloth fall to his doom? He kind of did like a ragdoll at the end, which is kind of horrifying if you think about it. Like, he falls head first. It's like, wow, are you gonna give these kids nightmares? Probably not. Although if you see your toddler collecting acorns in the backyard, and then you ask him why, and he's like, so I don't get killed, you might want to set him down and let him know that rings are the only way to go. You gotta collect rings, and then when you die, then you drop all your rings, and you just gotta collect a lot of them, and then you'll be fine, just as long as you collect at least one ring. Wait, did the level just repeat? Oh, I got one shot at this, and I made it. Oh, that's disappointing. Well, so I may have previously said that this game was very easy, but the difficulty does seem to be ramping up. Not a ton. We're only at like difficulty level, I don't know, World 2, maybe 3 of Mario Brothers. So like things haven't quite gotten dangerous yet, but like you can still die. So that's kind of where we're at. But it is a change of pace. Interestingly, you have more control of your character in the air than you do on land. Also, as mirrored does this winter theme sound like it's from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, rather than this game. I have become very acquainted with this theme, let's say. Oh, if you lose all your acorns, then you start from the beginning of the stage. So there is an element of danger. On the bright side, all the acorns come back, so you can very easily make it back to where you were. But if you thought you could just power walk your way through the game, well, you kind of can, but you also kind of can't. Oh, that's the worst way to die, because then that means everything's gonna reset. Oh my gosh, I've never heard so many Wilhelm screams all at once. Okay, remember what I said was World 4 of Mario? Okay, we're reaching World 6 difficulty. So not quite the apex, but we've really gotten somewhere. And I was somewhere. Now I'm nowhere. Okie dokie. We're inside. Come on, come on. Why do you spin so slow? Oh my gosh. Okay, are we safe? Obviously not. But are we in danger? That nobody knows. Abandon all worldly possessions and you too can enter Nirvana. Come on. Well, that was that. This is probably the first time that I feel like the sloth telling me great at the end is not facetious. I mean, again, it never ends, but I feel like we're at least close. Unfortunately, I'm getting a little, maybe not bored of this game. Like, well, okay, call me a lobster in a pot if you want, but this game has been growing on me after time. But now, we're reaching that point where I gotta check if there are 8 levels or if there are 20 levels. You know, that might be a fun thing to do right now. Let's actually check. How many more levels are there? I think we're on level 7? Ho ho! Alright, so we've got some interesting things here. First off, I read the reception. The game received poor reviews from critics. Jeez, an average score of 46%, 47 out of 100. Jeez, that's pretty rough. Now, would I give it that low of a grade? I don't know. I mean, there's one guy calls it a straightforward platform game with a host of problems that ultimately make it a joyless experience. I feel like this guy is being a little too harsh on this game. I mean, there are problems perhaps, but there are a lot of positives. And they do mention the repetitive and uninteresting music. I mean, the music kind of got a little fun. And then, challenging blind leaps. It's like, there have been no blind leaps. I'm not sure what these people are on. I don't think they're on level 7, that's for sure. Wait, what? So this guy is like, oh yeah, commenting about the music, it's the only real plus. But then this guy is like, repetitive and uninteresting music. And it's like, make up your minds, guys. And also the backgrounds of this game are actually pretty darn good. I mean, I could see these being in another other game. Now, 50 out of 100, then again, I guess if we're using like IGN scale, that means it's like a decently passable game. Well, actually, no, IGN scale inflates things. So it's like, if it's 47, then that's terrible. So I guess it'd be like a 70 on an IGN scale. Not like terrible, but like pretty nice. Anyway, the number I was most interested in is 10. There are 10 levels. I am currently 70% through the game. I mean, that's a fair percentage of the way through the game. But I feel like it can only go downhill from here. So, okay, I'm beginning to see these blind leap aspects. Maybe not. I mean, I don't think it's exactly a blind leap. Oh, maybe this is where the blind leaps happen. Maybe the reviewers got to this stage and they were like, you know, that Sid level was pretty hype, but now we're another one of these, and I just don't have it in me. And you know what? I kind of agree with the reviewers. Now, if there's one advantage to the lack of battery-backed save, it's that it gave us a password. Okay, I'm done. I got all my passwords recorded on screen anyhow. Oh, looks like we have to reset it the old-fashioned way. Alright, hello and welcome to Ice Age. The post-mortem. Well, so, I mean, yeah, licensed games get a bad rap. There's not gonna be, let me guess, there's no attract screen. It's just gonna be this for all eternity. Oh well, at least this is a pretty picture. Like, I know licensed games get a bad rap. They're like, oh, they're just desperate cash grabs, or oh, they don't care about the gameplay. They're just gonna poop out a game. And I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say that this is a renowned classic, a new age hidden gem for our times, but I'm also not gonna say that this is a game that is bereft of soul. This game, it has a soul. Like, I feel like the people who made this game, they took some pride in their work. And I feel like there were other constraints or something, like they ran out of time, or they ran out of money, or just the executives were like, it's playable, let's ship it. But like, I feel like they wanted to make a good game, and it wasn't their inexperience, it wasn't anything about them that got in the way. Because I mean, one of my biggest major visual flaws is that like the kid is like one color, there's no shading on him whatsoever. But they're shading on every other character, so it's not like they're incapable of doing this stuff. But, well, I don't know why they had enough time to do perfect backgrounds, but then they get to the kid and they're like, oh, no shading. But, like, I feel like they just ran out of time and they couldn't quite, like, file away those rough edges. But, like, they had a good concept. Like, you try to get the walnut all the way to the end. Now, I feel like they should have hit upon that a little bit harder, and then maybe had like more puzzles around it, because that whole second level was just kind of boring, pointless meandering. But there was something here, and then the Sid levels made for like an enjoyable change of pace. Honestly, if you had an entire game full of those Sid levels, like, I can't say I would enjoy it like 100% more, but I would enjoy it like a bit more, maybe. There's some fun to those Sid games. In fact, actually, in a sense, if you think about it, it almost kind of reminds me of like one of these modern day iPhone games or something. So you could probably make that Sid like its own little infinite runner, and you get a fair number of people playing it, I'd imagine. So there's something here. I'm kind of interested. Like, did these people ever make anything else? Well, you know, let's end this on a coda. Let's see. So the developers were Artificial Mind and Movement. Place your bets. Where do they go after this? And where did they come from before? Wow. All right, let's sort by year released. I think it already is. Wow, The Grinch, Bugs Bunny, Ice Age. You want to port a game? You want to port a game from the silver screen to the Game Boy Advance screen? You call these guys Scooby-Doo Unmasked, Chicken Little, Teen Titans. Oh my gosh, it's every licensed game ever is made by these people apparently. Iron Man, The Mummy. Wow, this is just a who's who of. Did they ever make anything unique? Dante's Inferno, what's that? Dante's Inferno is a game. Huh. Dante's Inferno received generally favorable reviews. Looking at these scores, some of them would not necessarily be ill-fitting of that Ice Age game, but these Destructoid, and I think Destructoid is a fairly reputable source. They give it a 9 out of 10. So at least one guy really liked it. So, however, some reviewers felt the creativity waned towards the end of the game. Well, maybe they didn't lose their bad habits. Maybe that's just how they rolled, but... Oh, as Behavior Interactive. They continued... Okay, because that'd be a little sad. It's like they finally get their chance to make their own unique game, and it's like, no, they just kind of fizzled out. But the journey continues. They made Tetris. That's right, these guys invented Tetris. That's obviously a lie, but Ring. Well, they're still at it. Oh my god, they made a new Ice Age game. Oh, it's a mobile phone game. Interesting. Ice Age Continental Drift. Oh man. Monsters Inc. Pacific Rim. Pro Field Golf. Star Citizen. What? What? Isn't that like a game that people like? Oh, wow. Oh, the game's developers have attracted criticism for continuing to raise funds enthusiastically while failing to meet project deadlines. Let me guess, they ran out of steam towards the end of the game. Wow. Halo Wars Definitive Edition. Like, Fallout Shelter? Where did these guys come from? Wow. So they've come a long way. So we played one of their games from the very beginning. We played Ice Age. And now they're on Star Citizen. I think I've heard about that game, actually, which is a fair sight more than I could say about many of these other games. So I guess I was right. I guess there was something to this development studio. Because, like, you can kind of feel it. It's hidden in a jail cell of lost potential, but you can almost hear that good game crying, "Play me! I'm worth a shot! I'm just as good as those other games!" And it's like, you kind of aren't. But in a little sense, you are. Well, Behavior Interactive, I don't know how you did it, but you made a fan out of me. So, let's leave on a high note. So on that note, this cat's got a scat.